evening, everyone. Welcome to our city. It is April 23rd of 2019, and we are right here in the mayor's office at Muscatine City Hall. It's a couple days past Easter. We all had a lovely Easter. I hope all of you did too. We had 22 at our house for Easter. I'm still picking up grass from the house. And I know there's still a couple of hard-boiled eggs in our backyard that have yet to be discovered because they weren't all found. But eventually, or hopefully a critter comes and gets them. But we know mushrooms are right around the corner. We were just talking about that. We haven't heard any reports of anybody finding any in Muscatine County yet, and my husband hopes to be the first. And if he isn't, he'll be crying about it, I'm sure. But I hope all of you had a wonderful Easter too. But you know what else comes with the spring? It's flooding, and that's what Muscatine is all about anymore. But we have our city engineer, who I sort of, rose to the level of city administrator inadvertently last week. He is here, and he's going to talk to us about the flooding and what we can expect and what we're looking at and what kind of shape we're in. Welcome, Jim Edgmond.
Thanks.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
So we still have all the floodgates and everything up, don't we?
Yes, we do. One of them we had down for a short period of time to get Hines railroad traffic up in there and back out again.
And then put it right back up?
Just put it back up this morning. So.
Okay. Which one was that?
It's the one right at the corner of Mississippi Drive and Mulberry. Right in the corner there.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, back over towards Holland there.
Yeah, that's true.
That one was down for a little while.
Yeah, so they've been up for a long time, though.
Yeah. Well.
This is just one of those years that it's just a long steady instead of coming up and then going right back down.
It happens that way every once in a while.
It does. So we've already crested twice or three times?
To me, I would say it's crested once.
Once.
Really, it went up and then it stayed and then it went up, and so to me that was a crest.
That was
about a week or so ago.
But we have another one coming.
Yep.
And that's going to be
about the same.
About the same. Okay.
Right now. Now nobody can guarantee that.
Sure.
Nobody can.
Nobody can.
Because you don't know what the weather's going to be.
Right.
The snow melt question mark is come and gone, so that's not really
good.
Yeah, so now
we're
it's
rain
all
events now.
That's all rain related.
Okay.
And the forecast is, it's been drier than normal. Thank goodness. It's been a pretty dry spring.
It has.
That's really helped.
Mm-hmm.
And that weather pattern kind of looks like it's still holding on. So hopefully this peaks out somewhere around flood stage 22, which is 21.95 is what it was the last time.
Right.
And that's kind of a non-event. That's just right where it starts to get serious.
Sure.
And then 22, you start walking levees and looking for problems and stuff like that. But
we didn't end up as bad as what early predictions were saying. We might beat our record of 93.
True.
And that
true.
We're lucky that isn't so far coming to fruition, and we don't think it's going to.
No, not now. It would take
We're
an
past
event.
That.
It would take an event like 93 where it started to rain and just kept raining
and
kept raining. Yeah. But all of that, I wasn't great at statistics in school, and I don't really know anybody that was.
You're an engineer.
And I can handle engineering stuff. Statistics is not my strong point.
All right.
But all of that is statistically related. So when they say it possibly could get up to 28 feet or something like that, they have these charts, and there's a 10% chance. When they start doing their models, first thing in the spring, you'll get this yellow coded bar at the top, and they'll say that's a 10% chance that it'll get to this elevation. And then there's like a 20% chance it'll get to this elevation, these elevations, this range, and then a 50% chance it'll get to these, and a 70% chance it'll get to these. And so it goes all the way through it.
Sure.
People that don't understand that will look at those and they look at the top number and go,
oh,
yeah.
Yes, sure.
So
sure.
It's all statistics related, and the other thing is, I see they just put that up on the screen, but the other thing is they do predictions. So on that chart, you can see the blue numbers that are on the left there.
Yes.
Okay, those are actual readings, and then the dots that go on to the right from about halfway, and they go on to the right. The dots. Those are the hydraulic model predictions.
Okay.
Of what's to come. So way over on the far right, it's 21.7 or something like that on that graph. Well, that's what their predictions are, and we expect that peak to be maybe a day or two after that. But those are all based on the weather that's forecast for the next 24 hours.
Okay. So if that changes.
So if that changes.
This changes.
Those change. And
Okay.
they change that graph every day. They update that based on what's predicted for the next 24
Sure.
hours. And there's no real guarantees beyond that.
And anybody can get to this graph.
Yeah.
And it was, I believe, Chad, what did you do? Muscatine River Gauge. That's
Yeah.
what he typed in, and this will be
Yeah.
at the top of the
Yeah, it's on the top
Google.
of the search
Yeah, so
stuff
just
that comes up.
click on that. And then this will be specific for Muscatine. And so
Yeah.
I know our emergency manager sends me a copy of this every day. So as the weather changes, they update this model
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
And so the dots are all what's they're predicting, the blues what's already.
And you can see the blue versus where the dots are.
Sure.
You can see the actual is almost dead on with the predictions. I mean, they've got the,
Yeah, because you don't see the dots. They're covered up with the blue now.
the Mississippi River is highly modeled, and they refine it, and they just keep refining it and refining it and refining it. And they
Sure.
they
Corps of
can tell-
Engineers does this, I
Yeah,
assume?
Yeah. National Weather Service and Corps Engineers work
Sure.
together on it.
Uh-huh.
But it's really, I mean, they know exactly what it's going to do.
Sure.
And they can predict it long in advance, but
So it's not like the cedar that can come up overnight and have
Yeah.
like, when they have the warnings out
Yeah.
that there could be a flash flood.
Right.
The Mississippi River doesn't flash
Mississippi
flood.
River doesn't do that, but when the Mississippi River's high, and then Mad Creek were to get a big rainstorm on the upper end of that
Forget
range,
it.
then you get a flash flood there. So that's
Sure.
why we pull that gate closed there too.
Yeah.
And that's why it's a gate you can pull closed fairly quickly. So
Yes.
in case you know it's coming,
You can-
if you got an hour or two advance
To
notice,
take care of that, yeah.
you can get it.
My Uncle Mick and Aunt Jenny lived for years in the house on Lake Park at the Greenbelt,
Oh, yeah.
right by and oh my goodness, the amount
that's
of
right,
flooding they had over and over and over from.
That's just right upstream of the bridge there too. So
Oh, yeah,
that
it's right
doesn't
next to
help
the
it.
bridge. Yeah, right there. Nice because we had plenty of parking you could pull in there when we had big family gatherings, but not so nice for the flooding. Lake Park, you basically, to survive that, you got to be up on top of that hill.
Yeah.
That's about the only thing that's good. But Mad Creek's flooded my whole life.
Every time it rains heavy, it
Every
floods.
time, yeah. And we've had, just in the last few years, we've had a couple of pretty big rain events. We had the one which, 6, 8 inches that one night.
Yeah.
It was huge.
And there was another one last summer that was like 4 inches on top of turnaround the next day.
Yes,
4
and
inches.
and there was nothing nowhere for it to go, and it couldn't soak in anymore. It was already saturated.
One of the things that John Cook and I are working on right now, and it's all involved in the nutrient reduction strategies to try to keep from having to upgrade the whatever the proper name is for the sewage treatment plant.
Yes.
And the nutrient reduction strategy is to get a hold of some of the stormwater runoff and get it into retention basins or retention areas and hold on to it for as long as possible as high up in the drainage area.
Slowly let it out.
And there's an idea, I don't even know, I should probably even say anything, but on the way high upper end of the Mad Creek drainage,
Yes.
there's a farmer up there that must have some land that he's willing to at least chat about doing something like that with, and that would make a big difference.
Oh, sure. I'm on a team with other Mississippi River mayors, and we get together and meet regularly about issues involving the Mississippi because we all have them, from Minnesota down to New Orleans, and they're all similar problems. And I was at a meeting, maybe 6 months ago, and they had a couple of mayors who had came and shared some of the things that they had done in their area. Not just with the river itself, but like you say, the tributary, the little creeks and stuff that come off from it. And a lot of them were very creative and just, even though we're all the same, our little area is always a little different, and each one just has to brainstorm and be creative about what's going to work for us. But a lot of them, those basins, really, where they can collect all of the rainwater and then let it out little at a time where it's not coming out all at once.
Or just fill up and then let the storm run.
Go
but
away.
At least it knocks the peak, it knocks the highest elevation
Yes.
of that flood off the top of it.
Right.
To store
Right.
that. talk about levies?
Yes.
Should we?
We have a levy meeting tomorrow night at 4 o'clock.
I think we do. Stakeholders meeting, yeah.
We do.
But just so that everybody knows, you
Yes.
know, every year the Corps of Engineers comes out and with the city walks the Mississippi River levee system and the Mad Creek levee system. Now they have a rating system. You know, they go around and the whole thing is to make it better and,
Yes.
and keep an eye on things that tend to kind of get forgotten. But they're always going to find a few things that they want you to do and
Shore up a little bit.
But they look at those levies every year and they have it's either acceptable or minimally acceptable, or it is I think its rating is not acceptable or something. Anyhow, you're getting close at that point in time to not being able to use federal funds to rebuild it if something were to happen at that point. So those levies, I know it doesn't sound like getting a star or not. Those levies are minimally accepted. The Corps rated them as that. And there's some other things that
Which is still in the safe zone.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like any of that's unsafe.
Right.
But they find every time, well, you know, Katrina, they found out that pipes that went underneath the levee that didn't get inspected regularly because it's a big costly item, they didn't tend to maintain them and they tended to rust out, and then that tended to be a weak spot in the levees. So now any pipes that go through the levees, you have to inspect every 3 years, even if they're underwater all the time. They
still got to get inspected.
So every 3 years or so, we have to get a little robot and go down through those pipes
and scope
do
it out.
Sonar and tell you whether there's any problems with that piping or stuff. So just taking the
We
opportunity
can sleep safely.
Yeah, just to take the opportunity that the levee system's in good
Levees,
shape.
and every fall, they actually lay eyes on and walk it.
They walk it every foot.
And make sure that everything is where it needs to be. Because there's always been that fear. I can remember as a child, there being this fear that the levee was going to breach and flood South End. I mean, the people have talked about it just forever.
Yeah.
But there's...
It's disconcerting to think where you stand on the other side of that dirt. The water's 10 foot over your head.
Yeah, it is. Sure it is. Well, and that has always been something that people have worried about, but I think we can rest easier when we know that trained professionals are scoping it out, keep an eye on it. Certainly we learned from events, costly as they were, both to human life and financially, from events like Katrina. But we learned from them.
Yeah, yeah.
And we can put into practice better routines, better policies to try to protect other communities. But yeah, that is something that we do always talk about and address. And yeah, we have a stakeholder meeting tomorrow night for some of the parties that regularly get together to see what can ever be done or should be done or needs to be done.
And there have been some places that because the water has been so high for so long. I mean, there's a parish down in Louisiana that's been fighting this flood event since November of last year. If you can imagine it being high and staying high for that long. So there's some things that have come about because this has flooded and stayed high and been high for so long that they're learning, you know, that even if it floods and it stays up for a couple weeks, you know, you may get a little bit of water seepage underneath that.
But if it's longer,
the longer it goes, sometimes the worse that can be. And I don't know any details about that, but they had something like that on the Illinois side that came about because I know
certainly the repercussions from a long term. I mean, even if you can put water in or soda in a Solo cup, you know, and it'll stay there just fine. But if you leave it in there for a week or a month, it's going to start seeping out. I mean, same theory.
Yeah.
Same
and everybody
process.
knows that if you've ever had kids. You know,
yeah, because they'll sit there and now you got a ring around your, Stuff isn't meant to hold for that long.
Yeah. And down on Hauser, there's a section there's a 48-inch, 42-inch, 48-inch culvert that goes right at Musser Street, the entrance to the transfer station.
Sure.
And the water is up high in that Briars ditch and has been up high for a long time, months and months now. All of a sudden now that culvert's decided it's got a problem with that. And so we're going to have to do an emergency repair there.
Sure.
But
nothing, we do.
Nothing to lose any sleep over.
No. And we are staying on top of it.
Yeah.
And if there ever was a danger, because we stay on top of it, we would know it was a danger and be able to take precautions and action to.
That's what the emergency management
That's right.
whole process is about.
And we have, you know what, I got an email today. Our new emergency manager, Brian Wright, has been on the job now 6 months. I swear, it doesn't seem like 6 months, but he's
been a breath of fresh air.
He really has. He has been getting out there to every city in Muscatine County and coordinating and collaborating with all of the people that he needs to stay above, you know, tornadoes and floods and all the different things that we have to be considered and concerned about here in our community. So yeah, when we all work together. That's right.
That's right. It's all about the team.
It really is, because we couldn't, I mean, we don't all work in isolation. We can't. Yeah. So flooding, we can expect maybe next week another crest.
Yeah. But the long-range forecasts are is this is just going to go down really slow.
So it's going to be there for a while.
Yeah, so it'll be pretty temperamental to rainstorms that go to the north.
Sure.
But just one rainstorm that goes through, like the one that is there supposed to be one go through tonight, or did that go through last night? I forget. On the
we had some yesterday, off and on.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that sort of event, I think it was kind of a non-event. I mean, it takes an inch or two rainstorm that happens up
to
north.
Impact.
By the time it works it down the river to here, it doesn't make much of a dent.
Yeah.
So hopefully it'll slowly but surely go down, and we'll get a chance to start drying some stuff out. But I wouldn't be surprised for it to stay high clear in the middle of the summer.
Really?
Yeah, I mean high, not as high as 22,
to keep the gates closed,
but high.
But high.
Maybe up to the edge of the riverfront or something like that. It just seems like the ground's saturated, and we're into the spring, and that season is usually, you know, if this weather pattern ever breaks, and it gets to a wetter weather pattern, that high water could go out for a long time.
Sure.
So, it all depends on the statistics.
And some things are good for some things and bad for others. So the mushroom hunters, like my husband, are crying for, we need more rain. We don't have enough rain.
So I don't have.
But the people fighting the flood don't want to hear that.
I have no tolerance for anybody praying for rain right now.
And the flowers could use a little bit, you know, and I'm sure the farmers wouldn't be hurt by a little more.
Get it out of the faucet. Water your flowers.
Sure.
We don't need any more of it. Well, you know, here it's not such a bad deal. Burlington, of course, doesn't want us to have any rain here.
No, but the ones up north, that's what's going to impact us.
And one of the other things is that all of the tributaries, because of the snow melt now, like the Cedar is down inside its banks.
Fine.
Going back to where it should be.
Yeah.
And that's true with a lot of the tributaries going north of here, too. So it would take a pretty substantial event to really
cause us any real grief.
Yeah.
Yep. Good. Well, anything final? Any final thoughts we need to share?
None that I have.
Nope. So they need
dry.
They need to stay dry. They need to make sure they remember, you know, the gate's up on 2nd Street, so you still got to go through your detour.
Still got to go around the detour.
Lots of people comment to me, why do they have the stop sign all the way back on 5th Street instead of having it at the intersection? I tell them it's so the semis can turn. And when they come out of Hahn, they're turning right. You know, they always make wide rights, so they got to come over a little bit. And I can't tell you how many people have called me about that stop sign.
What a stupid thing that is. Yeah, I get it all the time, too.
Do you really?
Whose idea was this?
Yes.
But it's pretty important for those trucks coming out of there.
Yeah. And that's working. I mean, I go down 5th Street occasionally, and yeah, you got a stop sign there, but the traffic's flowing fairly well, I believe.
Yeah, I don't. It backs up. I don't know what, maybe 20 cars deep at the end of the day.
Does it?
Everybody gets out at once.
I must have been lucky and not got there at that time.
I've seen it.
Have you?
Like that, yeah. So,
okay.
But it's in the grand scheme of things, that's really not that.
We're
big a
moving
problem.
along pretty good. I think everybody's dealing pretty good with 8th Street.
Yeah, we are. I think everybody's gotten used to that idea.
Yep.
But of course, when they get that 2-block section done, then we'll open that up, and then they jump into the next one. So that's going to be another test of everybody's patience.
That's right.
So,
but we're, think of the end. It'll be good.
what is it? Nothing positive ever happens without some sort of conflict.
There you go. There you go. Well, my grandma always used to say, it's painful to be beautiful. There you go.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
Thanks for coming, Jim.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate it. Hey, if anything changes, let us know, and
Yeah.
we'll get it out there so everybody can be prepared. But
I'm sure
we're
you'll
just
be-
looking for a long, steady, it's going to be a while to go down, but nothing real catastrophic or at crisis level.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. We can deal.
Yeah, that's absolutely the best positive outcome
That's
from
right.
this spring.
That's right. We can deal.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
All
so
right.
much. Hey, when we're getting ready to switch guests here, I wanted to talk to you about Spring Cleanup Week. So we're in the thick of it right now. So this is Tuesday. We're 2 days in. We have had city staff, they put on all kinds of extra people and try to get as many people on the roads picking up everybody's trash for Spring Cleanup Week as they possibly can. It's going to go this entire week. And then just a reminder, this is new this year, electronics can be dropped off at the transfer station May 6th through the 11th. And you can drop off up to 5 items at no cost. And they're like $25 each through the rest of the year. So I've got an old microwave. I told my husband we got to get down there this week. May 6th through 11th. Tires are May 13th through the 18th. You can drop off up to 8. Make sure you bring your photo ID for that, because we want to make sure that's City of Muscatine residents, because we have to pay to have those disposed of. So Spring Cleanup Week right now, and make sure you don't put your items out until 5 o'clock the night before your trash pickup day. We try not to have them laying all around the city all week. I know that folks like to go around and pick up some things. Let's make sure that we're respectful of the area. And please, please, please watch your driving. Slow down, watch for kids, watch for people walking their dogs. Some streets don't have sidewalks, and just make sure that everybody's going slower, being respectful of the area, and try to keep things as neat and tidy as we can. Let's see what else next. Salvation Army. There's a fundraiser coming up this year. They have an annual meeting every year, but this year they've teamed up to have a fundraiser for their summer program for children. It's a wonderful program that keeps children at the Salvation Army, feeds them, gives them crafts, activities, things to do while their parents are working. The children can come there and be safe and have fun. And so this event is going to be not only a brief annual meeting, but it's really going to be a fundraiser to help support the summer program. Tickets are $50 each. The event's May 17th. You can call the Salvation Army. There's also a link on their website or on their Facebook page where you can get a ticket right over the web that way. They'll have silent auction things. We're having our very own TB Mentalist is going to be the entertainer. It looks to be a ton of fun. I've got tickets lined up for my husband and I. I think it's just going to be a lot of fun to support a really good cause. So Thad Burkamper is going to do illusions and magic, and they'll have a wonderful dinner at Geneva Country Club, and big thanks to all the sponsors. So any of you that can get out to support that event to help provide summer structure in a healthy, safe environment for the children this summer, please support that if you can. And now I would like you to join me in welcoming our second guest. Heather Neuweg is with Members Community Credit Union, and if you're like me, you have liked their Facebook page, and you will see all the time this program they have called Random Acts of Kindness that is just doing wonderful, good, fun, kind things in our city. And welcome, Heather.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much for coming.
Of course.
You and I were talking about you coming on the show, you said it's been 5 years you guys started this program?
Yes, it was started shortly before I started at the credit union, so January 2014.
Wow. Whose bright idea was it? Do other financial institutions, I've never heard of anyone else
I do believe so.
Do you?
I
Okay.
have a friend in the credit union industry that's up by Mason City, and they kind of ran with our idea. But
Okay.
I can't take credit for the idea because
Okay.
it went into effect before I was at the credit union.
So do you do stuff just randomly in the community? Is it every month, every week? How does it work?
It is monthly.
Monthly.
And we let staff pick. They can choose a month they want to do. They kind of come up with their idea. We always try to make sure it's kosher with whoever we're doing it with or the business.
Oh,
just
sure.
So you don't catch people off guard.
So you give them a warning you're coming?
Yes.
Okay.
At least the business gets a warning. About
Yes.
Not
Not
much
the people.
beyond that, nobody else knows. They double check everything. We make up just little flyers so we can pass them out so people know what it was for.
Yes.
And sometimes we get the, oh, I don't know, or do you need my name? Like, we don't need your name, we don't need your number, we don't need anything. You don't have to be a credit union member, although we always get a bunch that always say,
sure,
oh, that's where
sure,
I
sure.
bank and
Yes.
whatnot, which is even more exciting, but it's just a fun give back.
Can you give us some examples of some of the things you've done?
Oh, goodness, we've done a ton. We've bought groceries, we've paid for car washes, we did flower arrangements and delivered them to nursing homes.
Oh, I love that.
We've paid for purchases at Goodwill. We've bought breakfast. We delivered pizza to, I think, teachers' lounges. That was one of the first few that happened. So before me,
I love
but
that
it's on the
too.
list.
Yes.
Dunkin' Donuts paid for just people's breakfast at Dunkin' Donuts. They even let our staff go through the drive-thru, and she got to pass the donuts out the window and whatnot.
So people they don't even know, but they're just going to Dunkin' Donuts that day to buy their donuts and coffee, and you guys just give it to them for no cost.
Yep, we pay, and then they say, oh, they got it, and then you usually get the, what do you mean, who got it, what, and then in this case, the staff member walked outside and was like, no, we paid for it, it's on us, don't worry about it.
Oh, how fun. So do you get to go there?
Yes, and I get to go with usually most of the staff unless I'm out for something.
You
or on
lucky.
vacation. Yeah.
So you've done Dunkin' Donuts, car washes, you've been there
Yes.
and just paid for everybody's car wash? Oh my goodness.
We've made grilling packs with like burgers, hot dogs, buns, ketchup, mustard, dessert, chips, dip, everything you could think of to kind of have a cookout, and put them in a little cooler bag and passed them out at Come and Go off Park Avenue. Just to people
Just
getting
stood
gas
there
or going in the
and handed
convenience
them out?
store.
Oh, I just love that.
We occasionally get turned down. Oh, no, I don't need it. But I think in the end, that's just, it was meant to be for somebody else.
There you go.
Because we've had a handful of cheer jerkers that are just very appreciative.
Oh.
Not that people aren't, but
Yes,
just the ones
yes.
that they get over emotional about it.
Oh,
which
sure.
makes it even more, probably awesome. I don't know. It's fun.
So you let the staff at Members Community Credit Union come up with ideas.
Yep.
And
then we also build a list. If someone had multiple ideas, we just kind of add to the list, because sometimes some people are like, oh, what'd we do, or what haven't we done?
Oh, how fun. I think that would be the best job in the whole wide world. But even besides random acts of kindness, you guys do like Cookie Fridays or something.
We do Fresh Cookie Fridays.
Yes.
That just started end of last year, maybe?
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure on the date, even though that was,
I
guess, kind of my input. We used to have popcorn. We still have a popcorn machine, just in case, we decide to switch it up. But
Yes.
we thought cookies would be something different.
Sure. I just love the support for families in our city, and just trying to pay it forward for everyone. And what I really think happens from that is when something like that, like we were talking about the McDonald's line or whatever fast food line it is, and somebody pays for it, and then the next person pays for the next. I think when something like that wonderful happens to you, the first thing that pops in your mind is doing it for someone else.
Yeah.
And so when you go out into the community and do these random acts of kindness, then I think that spurs each one of the people that you impacted their life in that way to then think about doing it for others. And, like the pebble in the pond that you are starting, with those kind acts and the things that you're doing. I just think that just reverberates across our entire community and helps us think of each other and randomly be kind to each other.
Yes.
How
And
fun.
who doesn't love a surprise? especially when you least expect it.
I know. Oh, I can't imagine going and giving all the bouquets of flowers to the people in the nursing homes.
That was a fun one. It was, and another one that sticks out in my mind. We did, what do we call it? You Found Me, I'm Yours, and they were just packs of, like, we did some dinosaurs. I think we did some umbrellas and some picnic blankets, and we just walked around parks and just set them down with a little tag with like a little, oh, you found me, I'm yours, take me, blah blah blah.
Oh, how fun!
And then had our logo on it again. Just something different.
Yeah.
So we had kids stuff, adult stuff. And then myself and actually the COO at the credit union, we just drove around town and dropped them all off.
How fun! Just went into parks and
Yep, like
laid
set
them
it
around
on the bench, and then you get a little nervous because it's like, is somebody watching me? Like, what am I
I
doing?
bet.
But you're trying to make it random, so you're trying to place it where there's not a bunch of people at that time.
Well, sure.
And then that hopefully somebody finds it shortly thereafter.
Oh yeah. So 5 years, boy, that's like, and if you do them every month, that's 60 months.
It is
60 different things you've done.
And we have a budget, I mean, obviously, because
Sure.
we keep things within line. But sometimes we go a little over, sometimes we go a little under. In February, we did the Laundry Love, and we paid for both. They do it's one day in the month, but they do 2 different sets of laundry vouchers. So we actually sponsored that entire day's laundry sponsorship.
That's such a wonderful program for families. They can get their laundry. I mean, that's something that a lot of people don't think of. When a family is struggling financially, they might not think about, well, how do you get your clothes washed,
Well,
and
just
buy the
assume
soap. And
everybody has a washing machine, but that's not the case.
it's not the case, no. And it's always, I'm sure, such just a daunting task if you already have the burdens of financial difficulties on you, and you have maybe a couple of children, and you've got to have your work uniforms washed for next week, and what are you going to do? And the cost, it's not cheap to get your laundry washed, and certainly the expenses go up from the laundry soap and all of that. And I know the teen parenting class that I have at the Y, I always make sure to hand out the Laundry Love certificates to them so they can go and get their laundry done.
That's good.
It's a great program, Laundry Love, and I love how you teamed up with another nonprofit entity in order to help them succeed too. So, did you already do April's?
We did, and April's was a little bit different. It wasn't quite as random. We are sponsoring 3 kids' registration for college for kids. So it really won't happen till summertime once school's out.
Sure.
But College for Kids was partnered with United Way, and they're trying to help cover the expenses for some families that might not be able to afford it.
Sure.
But should.
Yes. Oh, the kids always are looking forward to going to College for Kids, and yes, but then that's an added expense.
Right.
Oh, that's great. So you sponsored 3 children. So did you sponsor 3 specific children, or they will figure that out?
I believe they picked them out.
Okay.
They had sent a letter looking for donations, and it just so happened to be that we were still trying to figure out what we were going to do for April. And the staff member that had April, I said, "What about this?" I said, "Oh, that's perfect."
Oh,
that's what we did.
There you go. Perfect.
And we haven't done it before. We've only repeated a handful of times.
Really?
Yes.
And you still just keep coming up with ideas?
Yes, somehow. Yeah.
So you don't have to think of them all by yourself. Staff helps you
thank
think
goodness.
of them. Yes. But are you the person who does all of the organizing of them?
Yes.
Then?
So the coordinating, kind of try to remind staff. Things get busy and months fly by. Like I'm still trying to wrap my head around that we're almost in May.
I know.
So we'll be starting a new random act. But trying to stay on top of staff. Like, oh, don't forget you picked this month, and did you check with so and so, make sure we're good. Once it's good, I make up the little flyer we're going to send out, and then we pick a day and time and go and come back. And it doesn't really take a lot of time.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it's nice to get out of the office,
Sure.
but it's always usually pretty
Sure.
quick.
Ryan, can you put that picture back up? What did you do in October? They had a puppy.
Oh, I bet we paid for pet adoptions.
Oh, I love
Yes,
that.
yep. That's what that is.
Ah.
That one we have done twice. But
Okay.
Why not?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody loves pets.
Oh, sure. So that day, everybody that came that day, or you just pick out a cup or a time frame? Or?
I think that one is specifically, and I want to say it was like National Pet Month, or it had some sort of tie in there.
Sure.
We worked with Humane Society and just asked them, we want to pay for like one dog and one cat.
Sure.
And then we just waited until something got adopted, and that person,
and there you go.
We covered their adoption fee.
How fun that you got to be a part of bringing a pet into a family too. Oh, that's perfect. So you have a budget. Where does the money come from? Just from the credit union giving back?
Yes. So I get a donations budget, and I also get a community relations budget.
Okay.
So it's kind of tied in between those.
Sure.
And then, some months are smaller. We did car washes last month. We didn't hit our budget max on that. But we did in the February one.
Sure.
So in the end, it all works out.
Oh, sure. It averages.
Yes.
How fun. And what better way to, we all have, I do at the Y, all the different organizations that we have marketing budgets on marketing what you do to the community. But what better way to market what you do by doing something nice?
And fun.
And so it's like a win-win. I'm marketing and I got to do something nice for somebody. How many people do you think they told that you helped them with their pet? Now, haircuts?
Yes, we have done haircuts. The list is, I was counting them, and we have over 50. I think at the beginning we missed a few months between some position changes and stuff.
Sure.
But there's.
So you went to one of the hair salons and paid for everybody's haircut.
Yep.
How cool. Very, very nice.
Movies. We've paid for movies.
What was this one? Snow removal?
Yes, we paid for some. It wasn't this winter, surprisingly. That was last year's. We've done movies, I said. Like groceries. We've bought lunch at numerous places in town. We've been at
really?
Ellie's, Port City.
Lunch on us. Port City.
Oh yeah, Butcher's Vegetables.
Oh, okay.
Stuff at the bowling alley. Tea's Ice Cream.
So you just show up and buy lunch for whoever's there at the time?
Pretty much. The bowling alley, we paid for bowling lanes and shoe rentals, I believe.
Oh, fun. I just think it's wonderful. I know the community really, really thanks you for doing this.
And we're happy to do it. It's fun. And staff enjoys
I bet.
getting a say and a part in it too.
I bet you guys love it just as much as the people that are receiving.
Oh, I'm sure. I would almost like to think we like it more.
I bet you do. And I just know it's a marketing. What is this? Each month we go out in the community. I couldn't read all that, Ryan.
There you go.
Paying it forward with random acts of kindness. National Brush Day is in November. So to celebrate, we passed out colorful toothbrushes to all the elementary school students at L&M. Very good.
So another different one that tied
Another
in with the
different
month.
one, that's right. Well, anymore you can pick each day or each month. There's so many, Child Abuse Prevention Month and Prevent Violence Month and Autism Awareness Month. There's so many that you could pick one every day.
Oh, definitely. And there's some that are multiple on certain days.
Oh, you bet. Several on one day.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you for everything that you do. I would love to say, and I know it's all true, that the community really appreciates the kind things that you've done for them.
And we enjoy it.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, I would just like to close out the evening with a couple of save the dates. First of all, I want to remind everybody there's no city council meeting this week because this is the fourth Thursday of the month. Next week on our city, the guests are Greg Jenkins with the Labor Shed Report. Each year, Iowa Workforce Development teams up and does a labor shed report that explains, how many people are coming from other communities into our community to work and how many that live here work somewhere else. And it ties in a whole bunch of data and information. And Greg Jenkins is going to come and give us the Cliff Notes on that next week. Also, Michelle Burns from Muscatine County Conservation is going to come and talk about all the different programs that they have for youth at the Discovery Center this summer. Next Coffee with the Mayor is April 27th, and that's going to be at DeBeats Bistro at 3 o'clock on Saturday. We haven't been to DeBeats before because they aren't there for breakfast. They're not open. But I was talking to Awad, and he agreed that they would open up early at 3 p.m. and we can go there and have a pop or a coffee and order an appetizer if we want, and sit and talk. And I just found out this afternoon that our golf pro, Dave, is going to come and attend Coffee with the Mayor. And so he's going to be able to tell us everything we need to know about the municipal golf course this summer. Hopefully we're going to have some good weather and we could get out there and golf. I actually have a gift certificate to use at the golf course, so I'm looking forward to doing that also. So that's this Saturday at DeBeats Bistro at 3 p.m. And final reminder to go to www.soundthealarm.org. You can sign up to have smoke alarms installed in your home. 3 people will come. 1 will scope out your house and look strategically for how many smoke alarms you need and where they need to be in order to keep your family safe. And the third person, and 1 will be installing them, the third person will be helping you and your family come up with a safety exit plan. I can't impress on this enough. The date for that they will come and install the smoke alarms is May 4th. And from 9 to 2. So you could just go to www.soundthealarm.org and sign up, give your name and your address, your phone number. It takes you 2 minutes, and then someone will call you and set up the time on May 4th from 9 to 2 that those 3 people will come. They'll be in and out of your house in no time, and your family will be safe and protected with adequate smoke alarms with 10-year batteries. And you know that they work and they're not expired, and everything is set up as much as it can be to keep your family safe. If you happen to miss this date, please call the Muscatine Fire Department. They will help you get fixed up with what you need for smoke alarms. Unfortunately, we have had some devastating fires in Muscatine recently, and we just want everybody in our city to be safe. So please take the time to sign up, and you can rest easier and know that your family's protected if something devastating like a fire would happen at your home. So please do that if you would. I don't have anything else tonight, but I want to make sure that you remember that there's no city council meeting, and we would love to see you back here next Tuesday on Our City. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you very much to our guests, Jim and Heather, and for the great information they shared with us. Have a good week.
Our City with Mayor Diana Broderson replays on MPW Channel 9, Wednesday at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. and Thursday at 7 a.m. Of course, we're live every Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. on Facebook. Email us at ourcity@muscatineiowa.gov.